Good morning from your News Channel 12 studios. It is 4:48 a.m. right now, and this is your morning headline. Two whistleblowers at the Tennessee Department of Children's Services said top leaders with DCS ordered them to cover up dangerous conditions at homes where abused and neglected children are staying. A former and current DCS employee tells us during the investigation that Commissioner Margie Quinn did not want written inspections of the homes because she was concerned about reports falling into the hands of the media. Brenda Myers resigned from DCS after she says her supervisor instructed her to revise an inspection report that detailed dangerous conditions inside a transitional home in Nashville. DCS opened transitional homes across the state to keep children from sleeping in state office buildings while they waited to be placed in foster homes. In March, Commissioner Quinn told lawmakers, "I'm happy to tell you we no longer have kids sleeping in offices." In early July, Brenda Myers and Jared Holmes inspected a state-run transitional home in Nashville. Myers conducted the inspection as Director of Provider Monitoring and Evaluation, a unit within DCS that inspects residential foster care facilities. During that inspection, we found that the conditions were deplorable and that children were not safe in that environment, Myers said. Jared Holmes, who still works at DCS in the Provider Monitoring and Evaluation Unit, was also disturbed by what he saw. There were holes in the walls, exposed electrical wiring, and the kids did not have enough food to eat, Holmes said. Myers wrote in a memo dated July 6, "It is recommended that immediate action be taken to reduce risk of harm to youth." The memo emphasized a lack of food in the home. She wrote, "On July 5th, there was no food to serve for breakfast, and some youth reported that they did not get anything to eat for dinner that night prior because other youths took more than their portion." She found there were only 4 beds available for 8 young men who stayed in the facility, and that bedrooms were in a state of disarray with clothing and trash littered on the floor and graffiti on the walls. The report indicated many children were not getting their prescribed medications and even found a toilet not bolted down to the floor, allowing it to be moved. During this investigation, Myers was asked, "If you went to a home and saw conditions like that, what would you do?" Myers responded, "We would recommend removal." Myers and Holmes believed DCS leadership would act quickly to correct the problems once they read the July 6 memo. "I truly hope that shedding light and providing a factual account of what we saw and the conditions to the commissioner that she would want to act swiftly," Myers said. But Myers said the day after she wrote the July 6 memo, she was called into a meeting with Commissioner Quinn and senior DCS leadership. The purpose of the meeting was to send the message that reports like this should not be sent to her and it would not be tolerated, Myers said. She said the commissioner was most concerned that the media might see the memo. She indicated, "I was not a team player," Myers said. She knew very well the conditions that were out there. She said, "If we think this is bad, wait until we go to the one in Clarksville," Myers said. But it is what her supervisor told her to do after the meeting that led to her leaving. "He told me that I needed to write a new report that would mitigate the findings from the first so that if there was a media request, he could give an updated report to the media that would show the conditions weren't as bad." Myers said she reluctantly wrote a memo on July 7th, which stated many of the problems identified the day before were, open quotation, "no longer an area of concern," close quote, based on what she was told by DCS leadership. Shortly after this, Myers resigned from the DCS position and office. And that is your morning headline, and right now, we're going to kick it back to Lorante Barbie and myself for final thoughts.